10 coffee brands that you should never drink, and only a few that are truly safe. Did you know that in Germany, more coffee is consumed than water, yet hardly anyone knows what actually ends up in their cup? How can it be that we are endangering our own health with our own money? That is exactly what we are uncovering today on Shelf Truth. We are taking the 10 most famous coffee brands from the supermarket and putting them under the microscope mercilessly, all the way to the true quality at number 1. When you hear about carcinogenic acrylamide, banned pesticides, and mold toxins in a moment, you will ask yourself how this could remain unnoticed for years. After this video, you will never look at your coffee package in the kitchen with the same eyes again. How long does real coffee actually last? What chemical fragrances do industrial giants use to disguise old beans? And above all, does your stomach pain really come from the coffee or from the dirty industrial tricks mixed into it? In this video, you will learn how to protect your health from these corporations and how advertising has lulled us into a false sense of security for years. If you are ready, let us begin right now with number 10. Place 10, Ja Guten Günstigen Tipp. These brands are considered harmlessly cheap, yet hardly anyone knows what they do to the body. These coffees are true acrylamide bombs. The entire production system is based on maximum speed and minimal costs. The so-called shock roasting process is used where the beans are thrown into huge industrial ovens at up to 800 degrees Celsius or over 1400 degrees Fahrenheit. The roasting process, which should actually take around 20 minutes, is squeezed into just 90 seconds. The result is burnt on the outside and raw on the inside. The reports from the European Food Safety Authority are clear. Acrylamide directly attacks DNA and increases the risk of cancer. You think the first sip wakes you up, but in truth you are pumping raw chlorogenic acids and chemical burns into your stomach. If you feel heartburn or a strong burning sensation shortly after drinking, it is not due to a sensitive stomach, but due to industrial abuse. This is not coffee, but coffee-like waste. Place 9, Penny Ready, classic Kaufland store brands and Aldi Amaroy. These products appear somewhat higher quality, but are even more treacherous. The big scandal here is the pesticide cocktail independent laboratory analyses by Ocotest show shocking results. Pesticides were found that are strictly banned in the EU. The beans come from uncontrolled plantations in Brazil and Vietnam and are packaged without thorough cleaning of heavy metals and chemical residues. Particularly dangerous is ochratoxin, a mold toxin from damp warehouses that directly damages the kidneys. To cover up the musty taste, the beans are burned extremely dark. The bitterness you taste is not strong coffee, but burnt mold and chemicals. Do not trade your health for a few cents in savings. Place 8, Jacob's Kronung, the famous green package. For years, it has been advertised as the epitome of aroma and enjoyment. Yet the lab results tell a completely different story. The biggest fraud here is the aroma illusion. Big industrial corporations no longer rely on the natural aroma of the bean because during mass production, the real oils evaporate completely. The solution comes from the chemistry lab. Synthetic coffee aromas and fragrances are sprayed back on during packaging. The intense smell upon opening does not come from the bean, but from industrially manufactured perfumes. If you open the package and look more closely, you find mainly coffee dust and broken pieces. Everything is ground up and roasted together. These fragments burn faster and create a sooty artificial taste. Jacob's does not give you coffee, but a perfectly marketed illusion. Place 7. Maleta aus Lies, a brand that is considered traditional and trustworthy, yet fails mercilessly in modern tests. The biggest problem is the completely uneven roasting. In a single package, you find pitch-black burnt beans next to almost raw light beans. This is not a pure taste error, but a health risk. This unstable roasting leads to a sharp increase in stomach acid. If you feel burning, bloating, or heartburn, 15 minutes after your coffee, it is not because of you, but because of this negligent industrial production. Additionally, analyses show that the outer dirt layer of the beans is not fully removed. The earthy, musty taste is the proof. The idyllic advertising images are fairy tales because industrial rejects land in your cup. Place 6 Adusho, especially the Gala line. This brand cultivates a luxurious image, but content-wise, it is a disaster. The biggest secret is the obsession with an always identical taste. Natural coffee tastes different every year, depending on the harvest, rain, and soil. Adusho, however, forces the beans through harsh chemical and industrial processes into a standardized flavor profile. Tired beans from which all natural oils have been extracted are subsequently sprayed with artificial coffee aromas. You are no longer drinking coffee, but an industrial cocktail. Additionally, protective gases are pressed into the packages under high pressure. Laboratory analyses show that these gases penetrate deep into the bean structure. This is not freshness, but the cosmetic resuscitation of a dead bean place. 5 Dalmare Prodomo. Here the deception is particularly perfidious. Dalmare has been selling an aristocratic premium image for years and promises stomach-friendly coffee through a special refining process. However, independent food technologists warn that this process removes not only irritating substances, but also nearly all health-promoting antioxidants. This destroys the entire health value of the coffee. Even more serious are the transparency problems. In tests, pesticide residues from low-wage countries were found that lie significantly above EU guidelines. The expensive golden packaging finances advertising primarily not quality. Dalmare ranks among the worst brands regarding ethical production and supply chain transparency. Place 4 Chibo, private cafe and standard lines. Chibo is considered by many to be a slightly better choice, yet massive problems hide behind the promises. The biggest contradiction lies between sustainability marketing and real production. While the advertising speaks of protecting farmers, the corporation in reality buys the cheapest batches on the world market to produce millions of packages at a minimal price. Independent analyses have found mineral oil residues such as mosh and moa in some Chibo batches. These substances come from machines or jute sacks during transport. They accumulate in the body and can damage the liver. The smoky, woody taste arises from over-roasting, a classic industrial trick to disguise inferior beans. The large selection is an illusion. Different colors, same risky bean structure. Place 3 Lavazza and Segafredo, the world-famous icons of the Italian coffee dream. The reality is sobering. The biggest scandal is the freshness problem. Tons of coffee are roasted in huge factories and transported for months by ship and truck through Europe. Lab tests show that these beans are practically aromatically dead upon arrival at the supermarket. After 4 weeks, coffee loses its oils completely. Nitrogen is pumped into the packages to make old beans appear shelf-stable. When opening, the gas escapes, leaving behind a rancid, oxidized bean. Additionally, these brands rely heavily on Robusta, which promotes heart palpitations, acidity, and heartburn. Do not let yourself be fooled by the Italian design. The decisive factor is the true freshness of the bean. Now we come to the most important part of this list, to the brands that show that coffee can also be honest, healthy, and transparent. Place 2 Alnatura and Mount Hagen. Here the rules of the game change, fundamentally. These brands sell not just coffee, but trust. In years of analyses by organizations like Ökotest and Stiftung Warentest, they consistently receive top marks. Why? Because in these packages, not a single gram of pesticide residues or banned chemicals is found. These coffees are consistently bio-certified, which means no use of toxic sprays, and above all, fair trade conditions. The beans are gently roasted in the drum slowly at low temperatures, thereby creating hardly any acrylamide and retaining the valuable antioxidants. If you must buy coffee in the supermarket, then only here this is the only halfway safe haven on the shelf. Place 1. The true peak of real quality local coffee roasters. If you truly respect your body, then forget the glittering supermarket shelves. Scientifically, place 1 is unbeatable. Artisan roasteries usually roast their coffee less than a week before sale, exactly when the bean is freshest, most alive and healthiest. Here there is no shock roasting. The beans turn for 15 to 20 minutes slowly at low heat, whereby all stomach-irritating acids completely evaporate. Labs show that fresh, artisanally roasted coffee contains significantly more polyphenols and antioxidants. You are not just drinking coffee, you are giving your body something healing. Never buy beans without a roasting date or proof of origin. True coffee, craftsmanship is traceable from the field to the cup. Do not invest in the advertising budgets of large corporations. Invest in your health and real taste. If this video has opened your eyes, then remember every cup of coffee is a decision for or against your health. Shelf. Truth stands for transparency, honesty, and respect towards your body and the people behind the products. If you no longer want to be a victim of marketing illusions, then subscribe to this channel right now, share this video with your family and your friends, and help us carry this truth further. Every like strengthens our voice against industrial deception. Write to us in the comments which coffee brand you have drunk so far, and if you will decide differently after this video. On Shelf Truth, you will find more investigative videos that help you make truly smart decisions in the supermarket. Stay critical, stay informed, and above all, stay healthy.